You know that feeling when you just happen to glance at your phone and it's exactly 5:55? Or you grab a coffee and the total is randomly $5.55. If you've been seeing 5:55 literally everywhere lately, well, you're going to want to pay close attention. Our sources today suggest this might not be just some random coincidence. What if it's actually a claimed cosmic activation code? We're talking a literal, physical, and spiritual blueprint for radical transformation. I'm so glad you're joining me today as we unpack these sources, because we are diving into a seriously fascinating overlap between spiritual numerology and, believe it or not, actual cosmic geometry. Today, we're tackling a massive question from the texts. What exactly is the geometric activation code hidden inside the 555 angel number portal? We're going to bridge that gap between ancient spiritual symbolism and the mathematical topography of other planets. And as you'll see, the source material suggests this could completely flip how you view these repeating numbers. All right, let's just jump right in. We're going to map this journey out in 5 parts. The 555 awakening, Mercury's winds of change, navigating the energy portal, the Mars pented geometry, and finally, your geometric activation code. Starting with part 1, the 555 awakening.
So according to the sources, if you're dealing with this portal, you are not dealing with subtle energy. To really get 555, we have to look at the base number. In numerology, the number 5 is all about movement, period. It represents the element of air, total dynamicism, and this almost irresistible urge for freedom. It's described as the energy of suddenly switching lanes, taking the unexpected exit, and just breaking free from whatever limitations have been keeping you stuck.
Now think about what happens when you take that single 5 and triple it into 555. Within this framework, it's like the universe is cranking the volume all the way up to 11. The sequence is framed as way more than just a gentle nudge. Proponents actually suggest it's a loud, booming internal yes that practically demands radical realignment. It's interpreted as a cosmic megaphone telling you it is time to stop shrinking and really start expanding. I absolutely love this specific quote from the source material. It says, "The number 5 is movement, and it does not whisper." I mean, how powerful is that? This isn't passive. It's the kind of energy that shakes you awake and makes you realize you have completely outgrown your current life. You just can't pretend to fit into those old boxes anymore. The door is wide open and it is absolutely refusing to shut. When we look at this side by side, you've got old cycles on one hand. This is your stagnation, the fear, having the exact same arguments, repeating those self-sabotaging patterns. It's that heavy feeling where nothing is technically broken, but nothing feels alive either. Then, contrast that with new freedom. This is what the 555 portal is all about. It demands radical adaptability. It's about having the freedom to evolve without asking for anyone's permission, making that pivot, and refusing to entertain the same old patterns just because they're wearing a new outfit.
Which brings us to part 2, Mercury's winds of change.
The texts actually point to an astrological engine driving all of this. In Vedic numerology, the number 5 is directly linked to the planet Mercury, or Buddha. And Mercury, well, that's the planet of intelligence, rapid-fire communication, and the mind's ability to adapt to new things brilliantly. So this implies that the disruption you're feeling isn't about brute force at all. It's about quick, entrepreneurial thinking. It's about navigating a rapidly changing environment with a super sharp, clear mind. And that leads to a really crucial concept: intelligent reorganization. The texts note that when 555 energy drops into your life, yeah, it can feel super disruptive at first. You're probably going to feel a bit restless. But that disruption, it's not chaos. It is literally intelligent reorganization. The systems and relationships that just don't serve you anymore are reorganizing themselves into something much more functional and harmonious. The core theory here is that you aren't falling apart, you are actually finally falling into place.
Moving on to part 3, navigating the energy portal.
So how does this actually play out on, say, a random Tuesday afternoon? Well, according to the texts, 555 energy specifically targets the bedrock of your daily routine. We're talking your love life and your career. In relationships, Mercury's influence demands total transparency. We're not necessarily talking about breakups here. We're talking about movement. It's having those really honest, direct conversations so you can evolve those bonds. And in your career, it signals entrepreneurial pivots, spotting those new opportunities and being brave enough to completely reorganize your financial structures. It's all about flexible, forward-looking adaptability.
All right, part 4, the Mars pented geometry.
We've covered the spiritual side, right? But what if this isn't just some ethereal, abstract concept? I really want you to chew on this rhetorical question raised by the sources. What if the number 5 wasn't just a spiritual symbol for change, but a literal, physical blueprint baked right into the geometry of the cosmos? Like, what if the universe itself uses the number 5 as a hard-coded mechanism for growth and self-replication?
Now this is where things get wild. We are looking at the Cydonia region on the surface of Mars. This is an actual photograph taken by the Viking satellite way back in 1976. Now sure, a lot of folks get hung up on the famous face on Mars in this area, but researchers analyzing this specific frame notice something mathematically way more compelling. Down in the lower left, there's a scatter of isolated, mound-like features casting these very sharp shadows. And the crazy thing is, they form a highly anomalous, striking geometric pattern.
When we zoom in on this specific group, you'll see there are exactly 5 distinct mounds, a pentad. And remember, 5 is our number of activation. When planetary researchers broke down the relative placements of these exact 5 mounds labeled G, E, D, B, and A, they found a level of mathematical precision that proponents just find absolutely mind-blowing. This specific pentad contains 4 distinct, precise right angles. According to the analysis, this physical layout on another planet perfectly mirrors our theme of the number 5 acting as an organizing activation code. Let's just quickly walk through the math, because the documented features here are hard to ignore. Researchers found that this pentad creates 4 similar and in some specific cases totally congruent right triangles with angles sitting right around 90, 35, and 55 degrees. Think about that. Having 5 random points on a planet's surface naturally create 4 mathematically similar right triangles is astronomically rare. In fact, analytic geometry shows that for this precise coordinated fit to even exist, a very specific angle, let's call it angle T, has to equal the arcsine of 1/3, which comes out to about 19.5 degrees. In geometry, that exact angle allows for something called a self-replicating property. So just as the spiritual energy of 555 demands that you shed old cycles to replicate a newer, better version of yourself, the physical universe on Mars displays a group of 5 objects mathematically locked into the exact geometric law of self-replication. The researchers in our sources suggest this is a universal organizing principle. It literally aligns a spiritual concept with a physical cosmic anomaly. How cool is that?
And that brings us to our final section, your geometric activation code. We've explored the stars, we've looked at the math, but let's bring this all the way back down to Earth. How do you actively use this? How do you step through this portal? The sources give us 3 really concrete steps. First up, set crystal clear intentions, meditate, and literally visualize your goals. Second, consciously release those old patterns. That means making the active, difficult choice to not text that person back just because you're lonely, or refusing to take the bait on that same tired argument. You have to stop the self-sabotage. And third, the text suggests you can amplify this shift using physical tools, like crystals. Amethyst is highly recommended for spiritual insight, while citrine is the go-to for manifesting the abundance of this new chapter. The source material strongly suggests making this phrase your mantra as you go about your day. Say it while you're getting ready in the morning, say it on your commute, I am allowed to want more. The running theory is that the energy of the number 5 thrives on repetition. It builds unstoppable momentum. It's your daily reminder that you absolutely do not have to shrink yourself down to fit your old life anymore. You are allowed to expand. So, we've seen how the number 5 acts as a massive catalyst. It's the Vedic energy of intelligent reorganization, and it flawlessly mirrors a mathematical blueprint for self-replication that's literally sitting there on the surface of Mars. According to these theories, it is the universe flashing a giant neon sign telling you the door is wide open. So, based on everything we've unpacked today, the only thing left to figure out is, are you ready to activate your 555 sequence? Thanks so much for hanging out and exploring these sources with me today. I hope it blew your mind as much as it did mine.
If you've been seeing repeating numbers everywhere lately, 111, 222, 333, or 444, it might be worth asking yourself why those patterns keep showing up. As a thank you for tuning into Law of Attraction Manifestation and Angel Numbers channel, I mapped out a personalized numerology analysis based on your unique birth date. It's completely free to explore, and it will help you see your current timeline from a completely different perspective. Head to my main profile page or video description right now to secure your custom reading. Like, share, comment, subscribe, and follow for more angel number insights, spiritual mindset upgrades, and manifestation wisdom. Thanks for supporting and watching. Have a great day.